Hello, hello, hello. I am Denise Evans. This is the Making Change podcast, and we are doing the Women in Tech series. What is so awesome today is that I have a lady who is absolutely phenomenal. She has made it on my list of amazing people. She is someone that I have had the opportunity of working with at Intuit for the last 2 years. Her name is Nancy Acosta. Not only is she a phenomenal worker, but she's an amazing mom. So, Nancy, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Okay, I know that you are a working mom. So, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm well. Absolutely. It's an honor to be here, and to even be on your list is an honor. So thank you so much.
Yes, yes, yes. Nancy, look, we're going to go ahead and get right into this. One of the reasons why I wanted to do a Women in Tech series is that normally when we are watching the news or we see headlines and they are talking about women in tech, they're normally highlighting VPs, CEOs, creative directors. We never talk about the frontline workers who oftentimes lack visibility. Working in the finance department, you all play a very pivotal role in the everyday run of the business for Intuit. But unfortunately, a lot of times you kind of play the background. So I wanted to be able to highlight all of you ladies. So, Nancy, let's jump right in. Please give the audience a little background about yourself.
So I am, as you said, you mentioned, I'm a single mom. I have a 10-year-old. Originally, I'm from Texas, but I've been in Tucson for over 20 years. I did visit and stay in South Carolina for 5 years. That's where my
Mm,
daughter was born, and so I came back
nice.
home to be closer to the family. 42, and yeah.
You're looking good. You're looking good, lady. You're looking good. I love it. I love it. I love it. Uh, Nancy and I actually we sat right across
Yeah.
from one another on the same row, and always bubbly, always has an amazing attitude, and is always ready to dig in. So, in the name of digging in, Nancy, what brought you to Intuit, and what are your current duties in the position that you hold?
So I first started at Intuit, and what brought me to Intuit was sanctions. Bridger,
Mm,
I was one of the
yes,
first to hit that run-in, and I think I killed it.
yes,
Um,
you definitely did.
yeah. So that's what brought me. And then I went on to Tuesday's team with order management. And now my duties are a lot of refund, for customers, as far as, tax products, and then anything to
Yes,
do with tax season. So it's been fun. It's a learning experience because this is the first time for me. My background
yes.
is mostly on administrative work. I
Wow.
came back from a chiropractic background. I was the office manager. I did office coordinator, chiropractic assistant. I had like three, four jobs rolled up into one. I ran
Wow.
events, did that for
Whoop.
5 years. But I
Oh,
knew
that's awesome.
I needed a change and I needed more growth. So I decided to put my resume on Indeed, and they found me there, and that's how I ended up at Intuit. Yeah.
Hey, I love it. It's an amazing story. And I always have to let the audience know because sometimes when people hear Intuit, they're like, who is Intuit?
Yeah.
So for the people who don't know it, Intuit makes the QuickBooks accounting software and also the TurboTax software.
Yes.
So just think about when the first of the year rolls around, you're filing your taxes. A lot of people use the TurboTax product. So that is who Intuit is. Now, Nancy, let me ask you something. You just told us that you were in the administrative world prior to coming to Intuit. You wore about three or four different hats. How has that experience led to the things that you're doing at Intuit?
Um, I would say like one of the biggest thing is growth, because I feel having, of course, with any more experience, you gain more growth. So I feel my
Yeah,
past employment
yeah,
kind of got me prepared for the role at Intuit, because, as you see, you have a list of cues that you have to run through the day and get done.
Mhm.
And that's what I did a lot in my background. I did a lot of
Yeah.
multitasking, as you mentioned, meant, wearing a lot of hats, different hats. And
Yeah.
you do get, pulled here and there for with Intuit, just as far as projects or, getting a certain work done, especially having SLAs,
Yeah.
time on certain things,
Yes.
restrictions. So that
Hmm.
really, has helped me a lot with being
Wow.
with Intuit. Yeah.
I love it. Now, let me ask you something. What is it like being a woman of color in the tech world? And do you feel seen and supported?
Um, you know what? When the so this is a really good question, especially for me because, like I mentioned, I worked in administrative where I worked for a Caucasian woman, and all I will tell you, fun fact, all of my employment throughout my years, I've worked with nothing but women,
Yep.
and it's very
Good.
few. There's a man in the mix, but
Yeah.
very few. So I've actually had the privilege to be able to work with so many women and different, background and education and experience. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's been amazing. And as for me, I've really enjoyed it because I do feel seen, especially,
Good.
and I don't know if it's because it is all women and,
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
more open, and as
Yes.
I am, I tell it as it is, I'm not going
Yes.
to
Yes.
sugarcoat. So I feel like that's, I feel it's a privilege to work with all women, especially like you
Yes.
said,
Yes.
it's a dominated man, industry. And to have so
It
many
is.
women and see, and I do see that, we are seen. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Like it's
It
great
is.
to do.
It
Yeah.
is. And it's so important for people to know that on this order management team, the supervisor is actually a woman of color.
Yes.
The other thing that is so amazing is that at any given time, this team is comprised of anywhere from 11 to 12 people,
Hmm.
all of them being all of them being women, with the exception of one person. Shout out to Levi.
Yeah.
And to see you all work so harmoniously together,
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And to see how often you support one another and you lead with integrity,
Hmm.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. We are all reeling from the pandemic. We
Mhm.
all know what it feels like. We were closed off from the world for about 2 years. What has that transition been like, going from working from home to now going into the office, even if it's in a hybrid model? What has that transition been like for you?
Um, it's been, ooh, it's emotional, it's emotional, it's stressful,
Hmm.
it's scary, and
Hmm.
it's, I want to say that it probably took me maybe a year to fully um, be even the feeling of safe to be out of the house, because you're in that
Okay.
bubble and it's just you and your child, and you see people
Yeah.
who are passing away, and
Hmm.
it's scary. So it was a big
Yeah.
transition, and I would say the first few months, especially having a child, who do I leave them
Yep.
with, and who can I and am able to without compromising their health? So it
Yep.
was tough. And my, my little circle or my village is very small.
Hmm.
And I do
Same here.
my very best to protect them and keep them safe,
Yeah.
you know? So it was hard, but you do, once all those feelings, of being scared and knowing that you are safe, and, you've taken all the necessities to be able to be
Yeah.
safe, it's enjoyable, to go into the
Yeah.
office and be with your coworkers and talk
Yeah.
and,
Yes.
share. And so it is nice. I will say I do very much enjoy just going in 2 days a week. as gas prices are.
Same here.
So,
Same here. You are preaching to the choir on that one. I get that completely. So let me ask you something. Early on, we touched on the fact that you are an amazing single mom.
oh, thank
Nancy, what does work-life balance look like for you being a full-time employee that works anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week and also balancing, taking care of your beautiful little girl? What does that look like?
I will tell you it was tough because I did not have that in my past employment. I didn't because for me it was work and I needed to do everything I could to have enough funds to be able to support us and have employment, keep doing my best to keep my employment. And with Intuit, it's been a smoother transition where I can express myself and say, I need to leave early because of my daughter, or I can't go into the office because of my child, if she's sick, or, or even if putting in time and being able to get that request accepted, that's really
Yeah,
nice. So that's one thing
yes,
that I do enjoy with Intuit, that they do give you that leeway of knowing that,
yeah,
you do have family, it's not
yes,
just work. And it's
yes,
been really great and a learning for me to be able to transition to that, to say, oh, I can have a life and I can be a
yeah,
full-time, employee.
yeah.
So it's
I get it.
been,
I get it.
yeah, yeah,
I think that's also a perk of also having a female boss also
yeah,
who completely
exactly.
understands what it's like balancing work and motherhood. So shout
Mhm.
out to Tuesday Ward.
Yeah,
Can't forget about Tuesday.
yeah,
Nancy, we briefly talked about what it's like primarily working on a team with women, and we both say that it has been an amazing experience. Let me ask you something. You touched on the fact that it's nice to be able to have that ability, that if you need to walk away to go and take care of your kid, Intuit really prioritizes family. Can you tell anyone some of the benefits or the perks that you feel working at Intuit?
you know what? They've actually taught me what I'm actually worth of my experience,
Mm,
if that makes sense.
mm,
Because
yeah,
before,
yes,
like I told you, I worked at a place where I did 3 different jobs and I was
wow,
getting paid close to minimum wage. So it wasn't, I
wow,
was working a lot more for
uh-huh.
not what I was worth.
Overworked and underpaid. Yeah,
Exactly.
I get it.
So going into it and be able to have, and for them to say, oh well, you're going to be doing this work, so this is what you should be paid. That was amazing
Yes,
because that truly, it
yes,
really changed my life because I'm a first time home buyer and I was able
yeah,
to get a home, and provide a home for my
yeah,
daughter. So that's been great. Um,
yes.
you know,
Congratulations, Nancy.
Thank you. And just as we talked about, having that life work balance, Intuit really
Yes,
taught me that. They really taught me that family is important, and no matter what, at the end, that's what's left. So
yes.
that
So true.
yeah. So they've taught me 2 things that I
I love
didn't
it.
think I could actually have. And
Yeah,
I appreciate and am grateful, for that.
yes. And they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
And just to also let the people know, at Intuit itself, there are so many brilliant moms that are working and they are innovative. And it's just a beautiful process to see. Nancy, I have two more questions for you, and I'm going to give you the rest of your day back. Question number one. What advice would you give any woman who is looking to break into the tech field?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Just break down that wall, knock on that door, jump over that wall. Just do it. Just do it because
Yeah,
when I got offered a position and I was like, what am I felt I was going to be lost. I felt I
yeah,
needed classes to be able to do. It's like, no, just go ahead and do it. There's
yeah,
and the
yeah.
one great thing is training is always available at any moment, anytime
Always.
for as long as you're there, even if you're starting, if you're there for 20 years, like that's the wonderful
Yes,
thing. So just do it. Just do it.
it really is. It really is. Nancy, last question. Any advice you would give to the younger Nancy? What would you say to young Nancy?
Uh,
Any advice?
hang in there. Hang in there because it does get better. It does get better. Life becomes so much better. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, just hang in there. It's you know,
I love it.
as everybody goes through ups and downs, you just gotta hang in there. And once you get to where you know who you want to be and where you want to
Hmm.
be, you'll get there. Yeah, you'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Nancy, you are absolutely amazing.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you. Thank you. This will not be our last conversation.
No,
Thank you
definitely not.
so much
Oh,
for
thank
being a
you so
part of
much.
the Women in Tech series. We'll be talking again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Nancy.
Bye. Thank you.